What's up, guys? Continuing with our fat loss theme, we have another viewer question from Chris Mays. Chris says, HIIT, high intensity interval training, or HIRT, high intensity resistance training, while in a fasted state. What's the benefit? Well, Chris, let me explain this to you. High intensity anything is a glycolytic response, which means our primary fuel source for that activity will be stored glycogen, not body fat. Now, there's lots of good studies and good data to show that EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, created as a result of high intensity training will create an additional afterburn, as they say, or an increased usage, the increased use of total body calories, total body energy, stored energy. And if you're in the right metabolic state, that can be stored body fat. Resistance training, HIRT, high intensity resistance training. Again, glycolytic activity. That being, again, primarily focused on the usage of stored glycogen, muscle-specific stored glycogen, or liver glycogen stored in the liver, then released, utilized through the working muscles. That again uses glycogen, carbohydrates, as the primary fuel source. Those are beneficial, but those are not only the way to lose fat. That's not the best way to lose fat. Again, the goal of this series and in my speaking with you is so you understand the best way to lose body fat with specificity to that stubborn, gender-specific body fat many of us deal with when we're really trying to lean out. The muffin top, the lower nipple fat, the hanging tricep fat, the bra fat, lower belly fat, if I didn't say that, the fupa area, outer saddlebags. These areas, these gender-specific stubborn areas of stored body fat are very challenging. Engaging in HIIT style of training and HIRT style of training is beneficial for fat loss, but it's not ideal for gender-specific stubborn fat loss, nor is HIIT and or HIRT the best way to program your training system for maximal fat loss. See, here I'm under the assumption that you're going to be training with weights, HIRT. You're going to be training high intensity resistance training, performing high intensity resistance training 3 days a week, every other day, 3 to 5 days a week, most likely. Awesome. If you follow the Dolce diet and fitness, if you listen to me for any period of time, if you listen to me monthly, you will hear me say multiple times in that month, whether it's through our Instagram lives, whether it's our YouTube channel, or whether it's through our wildly popular The Mike Dolce Show podcast. If you read any of the 1,000+ blogs that we have on our website at thedolcediet.com, if you come to any of my seminars or appearances, you will hear me discuss this. You should be training 3 to 5 times per week with resistance. You should be training 1 to 3 times per week, HIIT style, high intensity interval training. This is short sprints, swims, cycling, rowing machine, running the heart rate up, allowing recovery, running the heart rate up, allowing recovery. Ideally, HIIT style is without resistance, HIRT style is with resistance. But your total fat loss will be severely impaired if you're not also engaging in low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity while fasted. Now, LISS training while fed is great. It's excellent. It really is beneficial, but not nearly as beneficial as LISS training while fasted in the absence of insulin. And this has to go down to the biochemistry with how the fat cells actually work. I'm going to do a whiteboard series on this. I'm not going to confuse this topic too much right now. But there's alpha and beta cells inside the fat cell, essentially, and we'll kind of generalize this for ease of communication. The presence of insulin makes fat loss, the actual unlocking of that fat cell, the oxidation, the release of that stored energy. With insulin, the presence of insulin, circulating insulin, makes this very difficult. You ever try and get in your house, or I own a few businesses, and we try and get into the business on a cold day, and it's putting the key into the hole, and it's really cold outside, and it's just hard to unlock the door. It's hard to unlock the door. It's hard to unlock the door. You got to shake it and jimmy it and move it around. Well, that's what happens when insulin is circulating. It's very difficult to unlock that fat cell and let it release. This is anyone who has, Biochem 101 understands this. If they broaden their horizon to understand our purposes with total body fat loss. But further, that gender-specific fat is even more stubborn. It's even harder to get inside that, to unlock that cell. Again, it's harder by itself. Typically, in our theory here, it's due to restricted blood flow. That'll be part of the whiteboard series. But the issue really comes down to that circulating insulin. So when we are completely fasted and we perform low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, which maintains in the aerobic threshold, which does not initiate the use of stored glycogen, muscle specific or in the liver, does not create an environment that glucose is needed, then the body will much more preferentially utilize that stored body fat. That's why we talk about LISS. That's why I talk about LISS so often. You should be performing your LISS training 4 to 7 days per week. You're a human. You have 2 legs. By the glory of God and all great things, whoever you believe in, whatever it is out there, the vast majority of the population is capable of walking. Those who can't, we work with some individuals who are compromised. We have to find other means for them to stay inside that aerobic threshold, and that actually is a lot easier than you might think. Different conversation. But again, staying within that aerobic threshold. And for me, a lot of people say, wow, 130 beats per minute is the aerobic ideal. That's wrong. You're beating at 130 per minute, you're already glycolytic. You're already using glycogen. What we say is we try and keep it below 110, knowing your resting heart rate is probably somewhere between the 40s and 60s, depending on your level of fitness. Hopefully you're somewhere in the lower 50s, which would be ideal. Getting down, if you're kind of getting towards the elite, then you're in the 40s. But think about that. If your resting heart rate is 50, you're doing your walking LISS at 100, you doubled your resting heart rate. This is more than ideal for the oxidation of stored body fat. Again, in the absence of insulin. So, Chris, thank you for the question, brother. I really do appreciate it. HIIT training is great. HIRT training is great. LISS training is great. What's greater than each of those individually? A comprehensive program with which you perform these all together. Now, how can this best be done? Let's say you do your LISS training Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You do your HIIT training Wednesday and Saturday. You do your HIRT training Monday night, Wednesday night, Friday night. Afternoon, evening, that's fine. Sunday is a play day, active recovery day. That's the ideal program. If you can follow that program, the gains you will make, the forever gains you will make, it will be insanity. So I hope you appreciated this. Click that subscribe button below if you have not yet. Make sure you switch on that little bell button so you get notified when these videos come out. And I want your comments. Leave comments below. We're getting thousands of people viewing these videos and only a handful of comments. Engage with me a little bit, guys. I'm here. I'm talking directly to you. This is why I really want to do this series. Engage, comment, thoughts, feedback. You like my hat? What do you think? What are these pictures behind my shoulder? So many questions you could ask. I appreciate you. And until next time, boom.